I finally get to meet this little legend, the Mazda Miata. Everybody has reviewed it, everybody has talked about it, everybody raves about this little machine. Now it's my turn. This is the 2026 Mazda Miata Club Edition RF. That stands for Retractable Roof, which we'll go over in a second. Welcome to my channel. If you're new here, I do car reviews and a little bit of DIY stuff. I'm gonna talk about this excellent little machine, talk about its features, drive it, all the fun, sporty nature that it has. Stay tuned, that is coming up. And before I continue, thank you Mazda for allowing me to have this car in my home test area for me to review and live with for you guys. Stay tuned, that's coming up. Okay, let's talk 2026 Mazda Miata, the RF Club Edition. This is the most expensive version of the Miata. This one stickers for about $41,900. You'll pay a little extra for things like paint. This paint, luckily, is one of the free paints and it's absolutely beautiful. It's the deep crystal blue metallic, absolutely gorgeous. This is known internally as the ND3 Miata. ND for, of course, the current generation, 3 because they did some changes and updates in about 2024 or 25. Starting with the headlights. The headlights are now, the daytime running lights moved from down there to up here. Turn signals, which actually, let me turn that on so you guys can see what that looks like. So turn signals are now integrated into the headlight, as you guys can see. Before they were on the bottom. And of course, this has the turn signal also on the fender, which is super cool. This one being the club version does have a little bit of extra bits, starting with that lower front lip right there. Super nice. Black mirror caps. This one also has 17-inch BBS alloy wheels, and behind those wheels are Brembo brakes all around. It does have a tower brace, which inside of the engine bay, which I'll show in a little bit for better handling. And it also has a limited slip differential. And what can I say? This little thing is such a cool little car, I gotta say. It's very little indeed, because it's so little. Such a little car, but it's such fun, so much fun. This one being the hardtop, which we'll go over in a little bit later on. This retracts and hides away, and it looks super nice, super classy. Beautiful curves and design. I'm actually shocked that Mazda has done a traditional antenna in 2026. This is what it looks like in the back. You do have, there's a turn signal there. Everything's LED. Turn brake light, turn signal, tail light, everything's LED. Reverse lights, everything. Reverse lights are in the middle, and now it has the backup camera because it didn't have it right there. And there is that itty bitty tiny glass. Third brake lights right here. And since we're back here, let's open the tiny trunk, which there it is. It's only 4.5 cubic feet. This is not a vehicle for a lot of cargo. Maybe 1 or 2 book bags on a small end, and that's it. There's not a lot of room for nothing much else. Super cool little car. I love the way it drives. I love the way it handles. And before we go in the interior and talk about the roof, let's I'm having trouble connecting. Oh, sorry, that's an assistant there talking. But let's open the little hood. Beautiful Miata. Underneath this very light and sculpted hood lives a inline 4-cylinder engine that makes 181 horsepower and 151 pounds-feet of torque. Made it to a 6-speed manual, the way it's supposed to be. Yes, you can get it automatic, but it removes the essence of what a Mazda Miata is. And this is a very tidy engine bay. This one being the club model, you do have a strut brace that goes all the way from end to end for better performance and handling. Very easy to work on. You have the intakes right here, little itty bitty battery, fuse box, super tidy engine bay. Nothing crazy to look at in here. All right, let's take a look at the interior, detect the features, and then we go for a quick final drive. Stay tuned for that. let's take a look at the hardtop, how that works. So you press a button, which I'll show you guys in the interior. You press this button like so, the windows go down, and in not too much time, the little top hides away behind the driver's seats where the soft top hides. So it's super cool, it doesn't take a trunk space, and it's actually very fast. And makes the car, of course, look so much better, obviously, with the top up. All right, let's bring you guys on board and show you the very tiny interior and the cool sporty features and things that this car has. Stay tuned, that's coming up. Okay, inside of the 2026 Mazda Miata, it is a very, very tight fit, but I do love the round gauges that it has, super nice. Of course, you have the tachometer front and center right there. There's that little digital screen. Let me get the camera a little closer, and you can adjust that screen by pressing this button here, and it will cycle through the miles per gallon, trip A, trip B. There's a little blind spot warning and active driving display. There's the temperature gauge for the coolant, the range, and the gas tank. And this car's been doing about 33 miles per gallon, which is phenomenal. And obviously this runs on regular because it is a 4-cylinder engine. And there is the speedo, there is the tach, there is the speedometer right there on the side. Super simple, classic gauges. And going to the steering wheel, it is leather wrapped. This particular model does not have, they're not heated. I don't believe if the Grand Touring model is heated. And there is that look of that little Mazda Connect infotainment screen. The normal manual dials. You got another circle vent here. You got an itty bitty vent. You got another itty bitty vent over there. Parking brake, of course. There's a look at the manual shifter. Manual transmission. There is the rotary dial to control that screen, and super easy, again, wireless CarPlay, Android Auto, regular mirror, hello. And then there is a look at the roof, and the glove box is actually right here, right in the middle of these two cup holders, and it is tiny. There's really no room for anything in here. This is actually the wind deflector, which you can actually remove that and then have a more uninterrupted view. But the glass, obviously being that it's down, it is completely shut. And so I don't cook myself, this is how you close the roof. This is the button right here to close it. You press down to close it, just so we can continue speaking, because it is very, very hot today as of the filming of this video. It is 88 degrees right now. And let me put the windows up, lower climate control a little bit. And yeah, this now I understand the phrase Miata is always the answer. I never understood it. This is one of the most highly rewarded fun driving vehicle you can buy, and you don't buy this car because of performance and flat out horsepower. You just buy it because of the way it handles. And also there is 2 USB-C ports right here for wired and wireless, wired CarPlay and wired Android Auto. You do also have a tiny itty bitty little lid here. Everything about this car is little and tiny, and you do have a little, your only dome light, that's it, in here. You do have, of course, vanity mirrors, no lights on each one, but that's fine. And that is pretty much it. You know, adaptive, it does have cruise control, not adaptive because it's a manual car, but you can set it to whatever speed as you drive. And let me spin the camera around so you guys can see. Yeah, this is a very, very tight cabin. This, I don't know if this is the smallest production car right now, but I would bet my bottom dollar that it might be on sale today. This is a very, very small itty bitty car. Every car looks huge. Even a Hyundai Tucson that I was driving behind me earlier, I felt like I was in front of a Hummer because this car is so little. All right, let's take this little Miata for my first drive and thoughts. Stay tuned for that. All right, let's drive the 2026 Mazda Miata Club Edition RF. Excuse the sweat because it is hot, and such a fun little car. Such a fun little car to drive. And again, I get it now. I understand it. You know, it's one of those things where you don't know what something is until you actually drive it and experience it for yourself. And this car just puts a smile on your face, and it handles like if it's on rails. And my apologies for the noise. I don't know if you guys can hopefully hear me okay, but it's definitely not quiet with the roof up. But this is such a fun little machine. It really is. And if you decide to cruise, actually have the air conditioner on because it is working. And the shifter is just so notchy, so perfect. The clutch is easy and forgiving. If you're a beginner in manual driving, this car is going to be very forgiving to you. And it's also super easy to learn and get comfortable with a manual transmission, which is nice. And yes, this car is tiny. Yes, this car has no room for stuff. But that's not what you buy this car for. You buy this thing because you want a toy, you want something fun, you want something that you can have your cake and eat it too, so to speak. And let me go in the highway right here. Oh, baby. And the funny thing about this car is that you're not going that fast, but you feel like you're going fast. And I'm only doing speed limit here, which is 60, but the sound, the engagement, everything about it is, oh boy, that's an F-150. That is scary. But, and then if you just want to cruise, you just shift into fifth and just cruise and have your fun. Visibility is, of course, a little restricted, obviously, because it is a very tiny cabin. And 0 to 60 is rated about 6 seconds or 6.5. Again, this car is not about power, it's not about horsepower, it's about driving feel and engagement. That's what this car is all about. You know, you care about driving, you could just punch it and it goes. And it really goes. The suspension on this particular version is a little on the bumpy side because that's what it's for. It's intended for sporty driving. It's intended to be more agile and more engaging than the traditional one. Not that the traditional one is bad. I haven't driven it yet, but people say the traditional one is a little softer than this one, which is also fine. But what a joy to meet this little legend and not be disappointed by it, which that in itself is a lot from a car. Super fun, super easy to drive, and it's just joy. This car's a joy, an absolute joy to drive. Drive slow, drive fast, and yes, of course, can you get the automatic one? Of course you can. But it definitely is not gonna have the same feel, the same connectedness as having this manual one. And trust me, this is coming from someone who normally doesn't drive manual cars. And I haven't driven a manual car in a very long time, so I might have goofed back there a little bit. But it's such a fun car to drive. It's so fun, manual, shifting your own gears. Now, granted, driving a manual car in New York City traffic, that's not gonna be fun. Or any major traffic, because you will grow a third leg shifting gears in it. But oh my God, what a joy. What a joy of a car this little thing has been. And I can't say anything better, and I can't say anything more, I can't say anything bad about this little car. You know, yes, it has shortcomings because it's a tiny little vehicle, and if you do want to daily drive it, buy one of these to be a daily driver. You can, if you want to go on back roads and stuff like that and have your fun. That one I would recommend to be the automatic one. Then you can have your fun. And I'm rambling, but thank you guys for watching. This has been my first review and drive of the 2026 Mazda Miata Club Edition, the RF, with the retractable roof. Thank you again for watching. And if you like what you see, consider subscribing for more videos like this and many, many more. And I will see you all on the next one. Take care and stay safe.